boys and girls, wrestling fans of all ages. Welcome back to the Popcorn Match, going over night one of Wrestlemania 42. And let's get right into it. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I was quite disappointed with how night one actually occurred. It could have been better, and I'll kind of get into that, but my biggest issue was the technical difficulties that they had going on throughout the night. I don't know if it was just my feed or if it was everybody's, but the constant lag, the constant buffering, the constant having to go back out and into ESPN just to see what was going on, the soundtrack being completely off for when Becky Lynch came out and the guy was singing, but there was nothing coming out of his mouth. It was just really uncomfortable. And then they had it for the longest time where the match was like behind and then the sound was ahead. It was just really awful, and I hope they fix that for night two. Now, leading into the first match, we had, LA Knight scoring the pinfall victory for his team in the six-man match with the Usos against the Vision and I Show Speed. And then the big plot twist was them helping I Show Speed, that being LA Knight and the Usos, to seal the deal on a babyface turn for I Show Speed as he put Logan Paul through the table. So, pretty good match to get the build, going. I thought that was like a good start to the show. Nice seeing LA Knight get the pinfall victory. Hopefully this starts, a nice winning streak for him, because honestly, he's long overdue for getting pushed in the main event. He's been in the upper mid-card for quite some time, and he really has that fan following. And if they could push Jey Uso and make him the world champ, there's no doubt in my mind that LA Knight, who's more polished as a performer and more polished when it comes on the mic, could be in the top guy spot. Now, continuing onwards into the night of Wrestlemania 42. Let me just backtrack a little bit. They had John Cena come out and do his fake guy shit that he always does, where he's like, gee whiz, guys, I'm here and I'm happy. Let's get to it. Wrestlemania. And then he hypes it up with his fake guy voice. It was kind of annoying with him too. But it is what it is. So we had, let's see, I can't even think what the next match was after the Usos in the LA Knight. But we'll just go over the card in general. And then if it's not in the same order as the event, so be it. So what's fresh in my mind is the 4-man tag, or whatever you want to call it, where Brie Bella came out with Nikki. Nikki's hurt, and they had Paige return. Fantastic, great to have Paige back. She kind of did really nothing in AEW other than winning the belt, and then that was really it. So that was kind of cool. The uncomfortable thing with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss being like a butterfly and moth was kind of weird. And then I don't mind that Lash and Nia Jax paid homage to Axe and Smash. That was pretty cool, but overall, it was okay. Kind of just what I expected, a quick match just to get the tag title change. Another match that's on my mind is Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. I knew that right away after watching the awkward uncomfortableness of the band singing. And then the sound was behind and the guy's just jumping up and down and there's nothing coming out on the mic. It was just really weird. But I knew that she was going to get the dub either way, regardless of the botch that was the entrance. But that was kind of neat. Happy for Becky. Big time Bex finally gets another dub, wins the belt, sets the record at 3 reigns now for the IC title, beats AJ Lee. AJ Lee can go on to bigger and better things, like possibly going after Liv Morgan. Spoiler alert for those that didn't know. Now, we had Gunther versus Seth Franklin Rollins. Now that match too, I don't know why everybody's really gets into Seth Rollins. I enjoyed his character when he was in the Shield, when he got out of the Shield and he was part of the Authority. And then after that, his character just kind of became just more annoying than entertaining. And I don't get his work at all. I don't think he's as good as everybody makes him out to be. Gunther, on the other hand, I think is fantastic. There's a reason he's called the Ring General, and I'm happy he got the win with Braun Breaker coming back, spearing Seth, and laying him out with another spear running 25 miles an hour or whatever he runs, and laying him out with the spear. So happy Braun Breaker's back. Need to see Paul Heyman, give him a hug. Not sure what was going on, why he wasn't with Logan and Austin Theory and I Show Speed, but whatever. It is what it is. So Gunther gets the dub, on to bigger and better things. Hopefully he can, retire Brock, if that's still the rumored thing that they're planning down the road at SummerSlam, but it is what it is. We had John Cena come out and do his like hurrah speech of how many fans were there. I don't know if that was a sellout or not. It doesn't seem like it because he didn't mention it. But then they had Bianca Belair, who came out, who's been out for over a year because of an injury to her finger, only to announce that she's going to be out even longer because she's pregnant. Happy for her and Montez, but you got to understand that probably the people in the back were probably, a little upset about that being, the higher ups in WWE, because I mean, she was like supposed to be the main focal point with Jade. Then she gets hurt. Then she has to have surgery on her finger. She's out for a year. Now she's pregnant, going to be out even longer. Obviously, when she comes back, she'll be a big star, but super happy for, her and Montez having, a little kiddo. But, the way it just kind of fell out, I don't know. It could rub them the wrong way. At least the old machine would probably not be too thrilled with the results there. We had Liv Morgan come out and sing her song, and she looked exhausted, but it just was her two black eyes. That was kind of uncomfortable too, her song and like thing. I don't really get that. I don't even understand where it became like a thing for her to be a singer. I mean, it's clearly, they like edited it super much just to, make her sound good, but whatever. We had Stephanie McCourt come out and do her like I'm the devil thing that she does, but you knew she was going to lose because they put all this emphasis on Liv. So we got Liv getting the win after much of interference. Dom comes out, celebrates with the Judgment Day. Rah, 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 because we know the Judgment Day is going to have a shitty time tomorrow when Dom gets his ass whipped by the demon. But it is what it is. So Liv Morgan, you can already see the writings on the wall. I'm calling it now that Raquel and their group, she's going to win Money in the Bank. She's going to get it. She's going to then cash it in on Liv because they always do those same kind of storylines. It only makes sense because Liv cost her the Royal Rumble. So expect that to be the long-term booking of what's going to happen with the remainder of the Judgment Day. So that was cool. They had the Hall of Famers come out. That was kind of nice. You saw Nick Hogan. You saw Jimmy Mouth of the South. You saw Bad News Brown's family. You saw Sid Vicious family. You had AJ come out. You had Stephanie. That was nice. It is what it is. Obviously, I wish AJ was still wrestling. And then as far as like everyone else that was inducted, that's cool. Happy for them. They should have probably got, a little bit more showcase, more packages, things like that to emphasize it. But they're running on the schedule, so it is what it is. Now we get to the main event, okay? So this was just ridiculous. So we had Pat McAfee come out and flip off the whole crowd playing Cosplay Rock from 2 years ago. So great, happy, there he is. He's good at, being a heel as far as riling up the crowd. So he comes out, does his whole little, entrance way, takes forever. Then we have Randy Orton, who takes just as long, if not longer, than The Undertaker to make his entrance. My goodness, if you didn't know, Undertaker has a record for the longest amount of like entrances when it comes to WrestleMania. It's like over 97 minutes. So if you watch every single entrance, it's 97 minutes. Like that's ridiculous. But we got Randy Orton closing up on a close second there. So Randy Orton comes out, does his little thing. Then we finally get Cody. Dun dun. He shows all his old gear. That was pretty cool to see. And then he comes up and he's got this really cool skull mask, which honestly was probably the coolest looking one they've made in a few years, at least since Triple H was wrestling. So that was pretty nice to see. Cody comes down, his daughter's there. That's great. His wife, Brandy, happy, big moment. So then they do like this whole thing where Pat McAfee jumps Cody from behind and boom, hits him in the head with the microphone. Then, it's like a 2-on-1 beatdown. Cody comes back, beats up Pat McAfee. Then all of a sudden Jelly Roll appears out of nowhere because we already know where this is going, right? We're going to have Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Pat McAfee and Orton at the next pay-per-view. But we got to build it up somehow. So Pat McAfee gets put on the announce table and then boom, here comes Jelly Roll with the weirdest elbow drop ever. They stretcher Pat McAfee out. He gives the thumbs up, flips the crowd off. Randy Orton's just kind of standing there holding his shoulder, looking weird. Cody's just standing there looking weird too. Jelly Roll disappears. No mention of what happens to him. So then the match finally starts, and it's, a slow-paced match. Nothing, too fancy there. And then we get like all this weird shenanigans where all of a sudden the ref gets knocked out, and then what's happening? Here comes Pat McAfee with a neck brace running down, being weird, like a cosplay Rock again, gets in the ring, tries to count 1, 2, 3 for Orton. Orton, doesn't get the pinfall there and just keeps going on. More shenanigans. Pat McAfee gets laid out. Cody hits Randy Orton in the balls. More shenanigans. And then Cody gets the pinfall over Randy Orton. And then it's just kind of weird because no one was really expecting that. Obviously, there's rumors that Randy Orton's hurt. And that's probably why they didn't put the strap on him, but it was just really weird. So Pat McAfee now is no longer with WWE because that was his whole thing. If Randy loses, he's done. But obviously not, because they're going to make that tag match at the next pay-per-view. So stupid writing there. But then we get Randy Orton just attack Cody Rhodes and beats him up, and then punt kicks him, and then that's how the show ends. So what a weird night for night one. I wish they had just kept it like, just one single night and stopped doing these 2-night things, extravaganzas that they do. But it was just the weirdest WrestleMania. It was better. I'll give it, it's a little better than what I expected, but like, I don't know, the writing and the storylines and the involvement of TKO kind of getting in there. I don't know. There could have been so many other options. Like, just imagine, right, when the ref gets knocked out, instead of Pat McAfee returning and running down and doing all that shenanigans. Imagine Ted DiBiase Jr. shows up to tie the story together of Legacy. Well, what if The Rock, who has all this, stuff going on with Cody all these years, imagine he comes out. Or they literally could do anything else. Kevin Owens, him and Randy were like a team and like buddies. And then they didn't like Cody. Like, they could have done so many different scenarios. And they could have Ric Flair, for God's sake, just come out and do his thing. And, they form Evolution. Or Triple H. Just do something different, to make it like more interesting. The Authority, anything. But no. Pat McAfee comes out, does his thing, causes shenanigans. Randy Orton gets the dub. Or doesn't get the dub. They have him lose. Cody gets the win. Wins at Mania, which is, hurrah, the golden boy of WWE gets his win. So clearly Roman's winning tomorrow. It's just like, you could do better, WWE. And I know it's not totally Triple H's fault. He's getting, pull back from TKO intervening and making storylines like shit for the last few years. Then everybody blames him. But hopefully they, figure things out, because that was just really weird. And then, like, the other odd thing was, like, where the hell was Aleister Black? Or, like, the last few weeks, every time there's a Randy Orton and a Cody Rhodes segment, there's Aleister Black in the background. They always have that, in the background for whatever reason, right? Foreshadowing for events to come. So where the hell was he? Right? What storyline how is he going to get intervened in the storyline? It's just so weird. But it is what it is. So that was night one. If I had to grade it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it probably like a 6. Just because I liked a few things here and there. My highlight match of the night was the very first match. The Usos and LA Knight versus The Vision and I Show Speed. I think after that, it kind of fell off for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's a cool return with Paige and Brie Bella, and they get the belts, and that was kind of nice. And, Liv, I guess, getting the belt, Becky getting the belt. And so the way I look at it, we got 2 heel wins, 2 babyface wins there for belt-wise. So we'll see where night 2 takes us. But I expect it, as JR would say, to be a slobber knocker when it comes to night 2, especially with Brock and Ova starting it out. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, you have yours. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of WrestleMania night 1 of WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, round 2. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Take care of each other. Like and subscribe. See you down the road. And make sure you grab another batch of popcorn. Get a little salt on there. And maybe a little hot sauce. Secret for you all. And let's, jump right into it and watch a little more wrestling.